Okay, so in this video, we're looking at factorization, and we were given the expression 30x squared plus 18x to factorize. And this is what I'm going to use prime numbers to actually divide the quantities. So let's start with 2, the lowest or smallest positive prime number. 2 can enter 30 15 times. Can 2 enter 15? No, not without a remainder. So we're going to use 3. Can 3 enter 15? Yes. That's the next prime number after 2. 3 goes into 15 5 times. Can 3 enter 5? No. So let's go to the next prime number after 3, which is 5. Can 5 enter 5? Yes, once. So we stop there at 1. Let's go over to the 18 now. The lowest prime number is 2. Can 2 enter 18? That's yes, 9 times. Can 2 enter 9? No. Next prime number is 3. Can 3 enter 9? Yes, 3 times. Can 3 enter 3? Yes, once. So when we look at the factors, they'll produce 30 with 2 times 3 times 5. 2 times 3, 6. 6 times 5 give us 30. Now 2 times, let's look at these as well. 2 times 3 times 3. So we're looking at these numbers on the left hand side and writing them down here. Now in terms of what's common, it will be 2 times 3 for both 30 and 80. And 2 3s we know is what? 6. So 6 is the highest common factor. And of course, you could just look at 30 and 18 if you know your times table quite well and do this. Alright, that 6 is the highest number that can enter 30 and 80. And we're also looking at x squared, right? And x. X squared for the first term and x for the second term. So we have x squared and x. Now, what are the factors of x squared? So we have x times x. And x is just simply x. What's common? Just x. So we take out the x that's common. Now, in fact, we could have simply compared x squared and x and choose the one with the lowest power, which will be x. Because x is really written to the first power. Now, what goes inside of the bracket? That's important to know. Notice that after taking out the 2 times 3, which is 6, we're left with 5. Because 6 times 5 is what? 30. So this 5 that's remaining, we put it inside the bracket. Now, we have an x also remaining for factorizing x squared and x. We put back the x here. Put back the plus sign, which is from the top here. And then we're going to put here what's remaining over here. So that's going to be 3. All right, so we're going to put the 3. But notice that we, in terms of the variables, x squared and x, since we already took out what? Took out x and here, we have nothing remaining over this side. So we'll leave it just as that. So 6x times 5x multiply give us 30x squared. 6x times 3 give us 18x by distributive process. So that's how we factorize. All right. Now, going through this process is really not necessary if you can actually figure out how you can find the highest number that can enter 30. Knowing your times table can make this a lot easier. Okay, so let's go down to the next one. 14y minus 20y squared. Let's use the same method. 14, and we'll look at 21 as well. So make sure I write them on the right side. So the 14 goes over here. Now 2 goes into 14 7 times. And the only prime number that can enter 7 is 7. 7 to 7 goes once. So we're left with what? Of course, you know, you don't need to put 1 there. So we can just say 2 times 7. All right. And for this one, let's try 2. 2 can enter 21. No. What about the 3? 3 to 21 goes 7 times. 7 to 7 goes once. So this is going to be 3 times. And the only common factor there is just 7. We take out 7. And between y and y squared can be written as y times y. What's common? Just single y. So we could have just selected the one with the lowest power, which is y. So we're going to put y here. Insert bracket after getting our common factor, 7y. Now, what goes inside the bracket? The minus sign. In other words, what times 7y will produce 14y. Some people will say, okay, well, I'll divide 14y by 7y. And what happens there? The y's cancel, and 7 into 14 goes 2 times. So there's simply 2 here. Another way we could have found this is to recognize that after taking out our 7 and our y, we have a 2 remaining, and that's what goes here. Okay, now let's look at the next one. 7y times what will give us this term, 21y squared. Again, we could do the same thing. 21y squared, which is y times y, over the HCF of 7y will give us what? When we cancel out y by y, we get 1, 1, so that we're left with 21y over 7, but we can cancel 7 too. 7 goes 1, and 721 goes 3 times. So that leaves us with 3, and this y right here, that's 3y. 3y goes here. Will that work? Let's try. 7 times 3 gives us 21, and y times y gives us what? Y squared. Okay, the other way we could do it is to look at the fact that when we cancel out the 7 and the y that are common, we're left with what? 3y. Solution is simply this. Now look at the expression 3x squared minus 9x. You can think of it this way, that 3 is the highest number. So 3 is the highest number that can enter 3 and 9. So that's the highest common factor. All right, so we're going to pull out 3, since 3 can enter itself and it can enter 9. And when compared to x squared and x is the one that will be the highest common factor of x squared and xy, because x can enter itself and it can enter x squared, and 3 can enter 3 and 3 can enter 9. But no, some person might think of this, okay, why is x the highest common factor when it has the lowest power of 1? That's interesting, right? Well, just think about it. You agree that 3 is the highest common factor of 3 and 9 because you recognize 3 can enter itself and 3 can enter 9. But let's say we write 3 as 3 to the 1 power. So we have 3x squared minus, and then we write 9 as 3 to the 2nd power x, right? Same expression we have here, correct? 3 to the 1 is really 3, and 3 squared is really 9, right? This 3 squared is really 9. Okay, now if we were to look at this, if we pull out the highest common factor based on what I just said by looking at x squared and x, which is x to the 1 power, we choose the one with the lower power. Look at this over here. Look at the fact that we have have 3 to the 1 power and 3 to the 2nd power. Which one is the highest common factor? 3, because 3 to the 2nd power is really 9. But we're going to choose what? The one with the lower power. So 3 is the highest common factor of 3 and 9, because 3 can enter 3 and 3 can enter 9. But can 9 enter 3? Of course not. You're going to get a number less than 1, or we can say fraction. Okay, so let's continue. So now what's going to be in the bracket? We're going to insert bracket, because remember we're looking at the highest common factor, and we tend to use distributive law to figure out how we get back the expression. So 3x times what will give us back 3x squared. Again, several ways of doing that. We can say 3 times x squared divided by the highest common factor of 3x will give us what? Now 3 into 3 is 1, x into x is 1, and we're left with just x, or 1x. And so put the x here. Put the minus sign. We do the same thing with the 9x. We divide 9x by the highest common factor of 3 as well. Well, 3x. Now 3 into 3 goes once, and 3 into 9 goes 3 times. X cancel x, as x and x goes once. So we have 3 over 1. So our answer is going to be 3. In other words, that will go into the bracket. So we have 3x as one factor, and the other factor is x minus 3. So those two factors, when multiplied, will give us back the original expression.